Hey, what is up you guys, DeSanto here. And today I'm going to be showing you a little bit of cool tech with the new Lightpoacher. Not a new item, it came out in Abyss League, which was forever ago by now, but it's been reworked recently. And the key feature here is gain 5% of physical damage as extra damage for each element per spirit charge. And you gain a spirit charge on kill, and your maximum spirit charges is equal to the number of abyss jewels affecting you, which can easily get like 10 or 12, because you can get 2 in a 2-socket Lightpoacher, you can get 3 in a 3-socket Shard of the Lightless, you can get 2 in a oh god, what is it, the 2-socket Abyss Belt. I'm drawing a blank here, but you can probably get like 5 on the tree, so you can get like 2, 3, 7, like 12 easily. And Shard of the Lightless, which I don't have yet, but gives 3% elemental penetration for just general elemental penetration for abyss jewel affecting you. So if you have 12 abyss jewels, that's 36% ele pen, which is a lot of extra damage for elemental damage. So basically the idea is to stack a bunch of abyss jewels, but there's one problem. And I will show you that problem. I'm going to use put Blade Vortex here. Actually, wait, let me unsocket these real quick. These are for later in the demonstration. See, if you look at Spirit Burst, consumes the spirit charge of fire projectiles which deal physical damage. It deals pretty good damage, but it has no cooldown, which means if you can like generate a bunch of kills on bosses, you can actually deal solid damage, like with a Worm Blaster setup or something. But if we gain like 2 charges here, like I said, we have 2 Spirit Burst charges, right? But if we use a skill, it triggers Spirit Burst. So then we lose the 150% of physical as extra elemental. And I think this is supposed to be designed as gaining additional physical as extra elemental for the Spirit Burst. However, this can be abused in one specific scenario. And that is if you go Chaos Inoculation, so if you go CI, so you don't have any life, or basically more 1 life, more accurately. Spirit Burst does not have a mana cost. It's free, completely free. But if you add Archmage to it, it gains a mana cost. It gains a mana cost of 5% of your unreserved maximum mana. So now it has a mana cost. So if we use a Spirit Burst over here, my key got stuck, there we go. Now if we use this, it's going to use a little bit of mana. However, if you add Life Tap and Archmage together, now it has a life cost, except we're CI, which means we can't spend life, which means you get this interaction. Let's kill some enemies here. Now if you notice, I have 2 spirit charges, and I'm using skills, but Spirit Burst is not triggering. So basically I just have that 15% Phys Extra Elemental, or 5% per element, per each Abyss Jewel permanently, if we can sustain the charges with kills. Now this can be sustained in multiple ways. Probably just a Writhing Jar Flask. The cool thing about Writhing Jar is that since it's both a life and a mana flask, it's a hybrid flask, it benefits from charge gain from both life and mana flask. So we can get 1 charge here, 1 charge here, and 4 charges here. So that's 1, 2, 6, and then 8 with the mastery here for 1 charge for life flask, 1 charge for mana flask. So you get 8 charges every 3 seconds for your worm flask. And then also you get 10% and 25% increased flask charges gained, and then you can get 10%, 20%, and then that doesn't actually have any flask charges gained, but so 10%, 20%, so that's 45% increased flask charges gained at a base of 9, so that's almost like 14-ish charges every 3 seconds. So basically, even on a non-Pathfinder, you can perma-sustain your Writhing Jar, basically. And you basically just need to kill enough enemies to get to your maximum spirit charges. So, with this tech, I mean, it's kind of a higher opportunity cost because you have to go CI. But CI is pretty good. And Trickster gains a lot of energy shield related stuff. You gain energy shield per 8 evasion rating on equipped body armor, of which Shard of the Lightless has a solid amount of evasion rating on it, and it has an energy shield on it, so this is giving you a pretty good energy shield base. And then you can take stuff like Spellbreaker or Soul Drinker to gain extra ES sustain. So it works pretty good with the CI energy evasion base build. So CI energy shield evasion base build. And then you can also take Swift Killer. So this is charge duration, and your spirit charges are charges. So basically you get triple duration spirit charges. So they last 30 seconds instead of 10. So basically you can Worm Blast, just spam your Worm Flask, get up to your maximum charges, and then your spirit charges will last 30 seconds, which is really nice. And also, of course, you gain extra frenzy charges, which is just more damage. So you can have like 12 spirit charges up, which is basically 180% fizz as extra elemental damage for physical attacks or spells, because it's just generic. So you could go like Spectral Shield Throw, you could go like Ethereal Knives, you could go like Explosive Trap. However, Explosive Trap does not trigger the gain spirit charge and kill. You have to gain them in other ways, which I would suggest like a Worm Flask and then just like Divine Ire, because that's usually what Arcali's Fang builds use is Divine Ire, because it's a big AoE that hits a bunch of times per second in the charge up period, because it's a big AoE around you. And basically, as soon as the worms are released from the flask, they instantaneously die, which is really cool. So basically, you can use just one Divine Ire gem, and then Archmage and Life Tap in your helmet, and going CI. You can basically have like if 12 Bistrels, you can have 180% fizz extra elemental damage, like permanently. Especially if you're a Trickster, gains charge duration, and Trickster is just good in general for ES builds, and especially ES evasion builds. So you can, this is not a build for this character. This is an Explosive Trap character that I'm just demonstrating on. So this is some pretty cool tech. I'm planning on selling off my Pathfinder character, and I'll have probably like 150 divines after that, and putting together some sort of weird physical to elemental conversion build up in the coming days. So stay tuned for that if you want to see some weird Lightpoacher shenanigans. And I apologize if this has been posted on the internet before. I haven't seen anybody on Reddit or YouTube talk about this interaction. I mean, of course they talk about Lightpoacher, but I've never seen them talk about this Archmage Life Tap thing. This was actually mentioned to me by a friend. Not sure how he found out about it, but I'm just bringing it to you today because it's very interesting. You can gain a ton of physical extra elemental damage, which then opens up if you're an attack build. Actually, it works well as well. You can use Trinity support to gain, a bunch of extra elemental band, more elemental damage, because you're basically dealing damage of each element, which is pretty cool. And then also on top of that, you can get the Forbidden Jewels, which they don't show up on the tree here. You can get Harness the Void for Shadow, which gives a bunch of non-chaos as extra chaos. Which basically you're getting your physical damage. You're using a physical because you want to be using a physical base damage skill. You're getting the physical damage is extra chaos, the fire damage is extra chaos, the lightning damage is extra chaos, and the cold damage is extra chaos. So basically you're getting 4 sources of extra chaos, non-chaos to chaos. And it kind of double dips because it's basically being added as. It's not like quadruple dipping or anything because you're using 3 different elements. It's only double dipping because you're getting physical is extra chaos, and then each of the elements is extra chaos. So Harness the Void might be a good option for Forbidden Jewels. There might be a lot of extra damage. So that's a pretty cool idea. Zeri's Promise might not be bad. So this is basically just a cool little concept that I'm going to be working on the next couple days. So feel free to message me on YouTube with any suggestions or anything, skill suggestions or anything. I might look at them and put something together. So peace, you guys.